Did you listen to the new Zach Bryan album?
No. Good?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good.
I've basically just been laying on the floor for a week.
I wanted you to do it from your couch, laying down.
No, if I did it anywhere, it'd be on the floor with a camera straight at my face. This is like the first time I've sat in almost a week.
Oh, jeez.
So.
A podcast about bourbon and the ones who drink it. This is Bourbon Matters. Welcome to Bourbon Matters. I'm Jake.
I'm Dan.
And I am
other
Jake from
is
Gold
here.
Eagle at Gold
There he
Eagle. Oh, did I disappear for a second?
Appears to be a little delay. You're fine.
All right.
We can't see you, but it's fine.
All right,
it's,
cool.
It's your Wi-Fi at your store.
What? Probably
maybe
is.
my buddy,
all the way in the
maybe
back
my
corner.
buddy Kyle who donated. Maybe my buddy Kyle who donated $5 for me to get better internet can donate $5 for Gold Eagle to get better internet.
Is my volume coming through all good?
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I am sitting in the Gold Eagle bar, and we are currently doing one of our Saturday morning releases. We just posted on Facebook and Instagram a variety of bottles that we have. So the way we're doing this one today is in-store only, limit one bottle from the table per person. Everything is priced at the suggested retail pricing, and we have Magnus Cigar Blend, Larceny Barrel Proof, Eagle Rare 10-year, Willet 8-year Wheated Bourbon, Buffalo Trace Handles, some Blantons, some Caribou Crossing, some Weller Special Reserve, some McKenna 10-year, and some Taylor Small Batch. So a little bit of everything. And yeah,
So I
would
think
say
the
there's
first thing we need to do is
Go ahead.
take our bets on what will be the last thing off the table. I think we need to do right now is take our bets on what the last thing on the table will be.
We do, yeah. And let me is my
Jake,
camera
you're at
still
the store.
out?
Why don't you go ahead and go first?
All right. So
don't worry
surprisingly, well, I don't know if this is a surprise or not, but Blanton's usually always the first thing to go, and then Taylor is usually always the second thing to go. And lately people have actually kind of been getting smarter and leaving the Weller till the end. But I don't, this interesting one, because we haven't had on the table in a long time. And we also haven't had, Buffalo Trace Handles on the table. So I'm not sure what the appeal will be towards those, but my guess would probably be, Weller or Caribou is the last on the table.
All right. Jake, what are you thinking?
I think the Eagle's gonna go quick. I'm gonna say that the Willet Purple Tops are gonna go late, only because they're so expensive.
They are. Well, we only had 3 bottles,
a decent
and one of them already got
would
grabbed.
Be
so
yeah.
Oh well.
So there's 3 of those. My thought was there's 6 of the Magnus Cigar Blend, and they're just as expensive. So I'm going to put my bet on the Magnus Cigar.
That would have been my second.
It's interesting to see the Caribou go, because I think once the Blanton goes, people that wanted to get a Blanton's might just grab a Caribou
Magnus
and then
Cigar
be very
Blend.
disappointed.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
it's got a
so
horse
Jake,
on top,
how
so
often
it's
do you guys have
probably just
these
as good, right?
Saturday morning releases? At Caribou.
But yeah, we
easy
thought it'd be
talk
fun
somebody.
to record live. Yeah.
But
I would
guess
say
Jake,
it's probably about once
Jake
a month.
R.
Probably about
We
once
had
a
our
month.
thoughts there.
Can you hear me?
While he's talking, why don't you go over
Hello?
a little bit? We just had our tasting there this week.
Hello?
I couldn't make it. So why don't you kind of go over what all transpired there at Gold Eagle? We'll just kind of make this a Gold Eagle rundown.
Yeah, so
You guys hear
we
me?
had the first Bourbon Matters sponsored blind tasting.
Yep.
This past week, we had the first Bourbon Matters blind tasting. It was extremely fun. We had 8 different whiskeys that we sampled. Each round was extremely close in the voting, which is great. That shows that they were pretty good matchups. We had a few interesting things. You can look at our Instagram or the Gold Eagle Instagram to see what exactly we poured. But we had a round of blended bourbons, American single malts, rye barrel picks, and finished bourbons. So yeah, it was a good event.
With all of them being so close, was there kind of a hands down favorite, or what were the kind of the top ones that you heard people talking most about or were most surprised about?
The American single malt was the most polarizing round for sure.
Yeah, there were a few people that didn't like that
There's
round
a
at all.
large split. Yeah. Surprisingly to me, a lot of people did not like the Yellowstone single malt, which I thought was going to be like a clear winner, because we had it up against a Westland single malt. That's a blend of a few different grains, malt grains, and one of them was peated, and there was definitely noticeable peat in the Westland compared to the Yellowstone, but a lot of the people actually went Westland, which was surprising.
Yeah, I
to
think
me.
that round, if you like single malts, you probably went towards the Westland because I thought it was much more complex. But it did have a little peat in there. So then, as soon as some people tasted that first sip of the Westland with the peat, they got single malt in their head, and then when they went to taste the Yellowstone, they probably realized that this is a single malt round, because we told them each round is going to represent a different category. And I bet you they went into the Yellowstone not, mentally not enjoying it as much as they would have if they would have tasted that first. So I think next time we'd switch those around. But yeah, I think it was a great tasting. There was no complaints. All the rounds were very close, as Jake said. Some very, very good matchups. And I think the biggest spread we had for votes was 3, and that was the last round with the Penelope Architect pick beating out the Yellowstone Limited Edition.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, that was cool. I think I switched back onto a different Wi-Fi, so I think I should be good to go now. It seems like it's working a little better.
Looking good.
Thank you. My video's back on. All right, well, let me just show you guys a little bit of the bar for our 10 listeners who watch us on YouTube. We've got a little table here, all the bottles on the table. We've got a little sign, limit 1 bottle per person from the table, and everything's priced at the retail price. So first come, first serve. And we're also going to discuss different ways to do releases.
Yeah, so how did you just land on how'd you land on this style? I know you guys do a couple different things, with this being one of them, because I know you have your holiday picks as well, your holiday go through as well. But how did you decide to just randomly have random Saturdays where after you get the shipment that do you hold stuff for a few weeks to get enough, or was this all things that came in this week?
Sometimes, usually, we'll get one big drop from Buffalo Trace once a month. So usually the week that we get that, we'll do a release like this. But we try to do, I'm trying to do it as many different ways as possible. A lot of things are just first come, first serve to those who are online on our app, to reward those who pay attention to the social media and reward those who have our app downloaded and ready to go. And then, another good portion of the bottles are held onto for the end of the year. We do one big release where we run a report on, how much people are buying throughout the year. That way we can reward our loyal and good customers. And then this is kind of just a cool, fun way to, give all the local people an equal chance at trying to get something. We don't like the idea of forcing people to buy other things, to have to buy a bottle. Because if I was a consumer, I don't want to buy something that I don't like just to get something that I want. So we just do limit 1, make it fair to everyone. And then it also gets people in the store on a Saturday morning, when Saturdays are, kind of hit or miss depending on the weekend or the day. And usually people stick around in the bar and have a couple pours at the bar. Like today we put the Magnus Cigar Blend at the bar. We put Baker's 13 year at the bar. So we usually put a couple special bottles at the bar as well when we do these so that people stick around and have a couple pours.
Nice. It's a
Nice.
good idea. Good, smart, and bribery into the store for some more money.
Yeah,
I enjoy
So
it.
I mean, like, I'm up for whatever other ideas or thoughts that you guys have for how to do releases, but we try to do as many different ways as possible to give as many people as possible an equal chance at grabbing something. If we did releases every time, the people that support us, we get people from out of state that buy a lot from us, people from in the city that buy a lot from us, and they would never be able to make it here for a release. But we also do like to kind of keep things local, and there's nothing better than a crowded store at 11 in the morning. So,
Yeah, and like I just want to note that this is actually kind of a rare practice where you just kind of put everything out there. You have to come into the store, limit one, and like most stores, I feel like wouldn't even put anything out. They force you to go through the back channels with the manager or some bullshit like that, in order to get some of these bottles. And it's, it's not really as fair is probably the best way to say it.
yeah, or just
it's equal chance to get to the store on time to
I mean,
grab
or it's just like
something,
playing games with the customer. Like, I don't like that. You don't want to walk in and
Right.
have to make a best friend with the employee and beg them every time for something out of the back. Like, it's just annoying. So this is just we want to be transparent for both parties.
For both
Absolutely.
parties, right?
Probably worse on our end. But yeah, we want to be as transparent as possible, and we want to be as fair as possible. So just, doing these releases in different ways, I think makes it fair to everyone, gets everyone a little piece of the pie. And of course, there's always going to be people upset who aren't able to make it in right away or who don't live 5 minutes away. But, it is what it is. There's plenty of bottles out there to drink. There's plenty of good stuff on the shelf. If you get here late, there's lots of great options out there. So.
The only other way they're a lot bigger here than I remember being in the suburbs, is like a lot of the local grocery stores and stuff around here will have raffle days where it'll be a day like this on a Saturday where you can go into, again, normally a lot of it's like the Hy-Vees and stuff around here, where you can go in and they have a time period. I'm not sure. It's usually an hour or so where you can go to the store, get a raffle ticket, and then they will have a drawing at a certain time later that day. So you can come back with your raffle ticket, and they're like, all right, we have this Taylor. This ticket gets the Taylor, and then you can go up there and reclaim it. It's a free ticket to get. It's a free raffle to enter.
Right.
The downside with that is just the waiting around for it.
Yeah.
It levels out the playing field of speed and location to the store, because normally they'll announce it about a week before, but then you have that just waiting around time period and waiting for a raffle to draw, which the problem with the grocery store is there's not a bar at it, where at least at Gold Eagle you'd have a place where you can sit down and have some drinks.
Right.
But that's big in this area of the state, is what
Now,
I've seen.
do they,
the raffle style.
what is it like a 2-week-long period where you have to go in and...
Normally they will, like a week or so, they'll announce that they're having it on the Saturday, and then they have a time period on that Saturday where you can go in, get your raffle ticket, and then they have the scheduled drawing time period. So then you see pictures of
you
all
don't
these
have to
people
buy
huddled around a small table
to get
at
the
this
raffle
liquor store at
ticket.
the store.
You just go and sign up.
Nope. You just go sign up, get a free little raffle ticket, and go that way. So that's one thing that they do.
But then you probably...
But then it's funny seeing some of the pictures at these grocery stores.
No, I was going to say, then you probably have hundreds and hundreds of entries, and especially if you have to be there for the raffle, you're just waiting around, and 30 people out of a couple hundred win, and then you just went there for nothing. You're probably going to be upset.
Yep. Yeah. Right. I don't think it's a good way either. It's just a way to limit the speed, but that's what I've seen happen most around here, besides the small independent store that has it for secondary price, or the people that you have to know somebody to get it from, is kind of what I've seen around here.
like it makes more sense to do it that way when you're out in the sticks like Dan is, where your nearest liquor store might be a 30 or 45-minute drive, and not like a 10 or 15-minute drive.
But see and then the other,
there's a grocery store literally right across the street. There's like 7 grocery stores within 15 minutes. I'm not like I get it. It's a farm town, but DeKalb and Sycamore is like 70,000 people, and now that college is starting up, we're like 100,000. So it's not a boondoggle town or whatever the hell you want to call it.
The other common thing with the raffles is lots of stores will say, like, in this 2-week period, for every bottle you buy or whatever, put up some stipulations and you get a raffle ticket, and then we do a raffle for it, which is, I think, something that we've thought about. And my only problem with that is you get your customer that shops and supports with you all year round, buys bottles no matter what, and then when you put that 2-week little contest on, they're like, well, I just came in last week and I bought 8 bottles and now I don't get any raffle tickets for my previous purchase. So that's kind of why we do the end of the year big release, so that way no matter when you buy throughout the past year, it all goes towards the same thing. And that's how we determine who buys like the antique collection stuff, the Pappy Van Winkle line and stuff like that, to make sure it's really getting into the people who keep our lights on, essentially. So,
right. I wonder if there's a way to, like, I know you said something about the people that aren't close. If there's a way to do an online raffle where you'd get way more entrants for the stuff you have, but you could sign up for a raffle ticket during a certain time period. Then there's a day where if you win that raffle, you can
see the issue
or whatever. But that's
that's what like Jewel does for their antique collection and Pappy release at the end of the year. But the issue with that is you get people from all over the state, all over the country, like people who never support you, who never would shop here. And if they win that raffle, they'll drive a couple hours to come pick up a bottle. That's true. And then the other thing too is, like, I've heard of stories where people have gone in and purchased 20 bottles just to get 20 raffle tickets, and then after the raffle's over, if they don't win, they get upset and they go and try and return a bunch of those bottles. That's not cool either. I don't know.
No.
We've thought about all these different scenarios, and like I said, I'm open to more suggestions, but I think we've kind of figured out a way to spread these releases out in different styles that gives everyone a good chance at something.
Yeah. Yep. No, I've always liked and appreciated the way you guys handle that, because it avoids lots of awkward conversations with taters. Because if they come in and say, hey, do you have any of this? You can say, well, you missed it last month. Follow us on Instagram.
It's a great tool to, that happens every day. So it's a great tool to get more exposure on the internet, more followers, just reminding people that, hey, we post what we have. We're trying to be transparent. So that's helped a lot too, because obviously more followers is just free marketing and advertising. So.
Yep.
What, I guess, has anything gone yet, Jake? Is there
actually
the
Willet
out of
Purple
anything
Top
yet?
is the first to go.
Damn it!
But there's one
Jake's
bottle
out.
of Taylor left.
Bad guess.
Taylor always
ahead
goes
of the Blantons?
fast. I have no idea why, but it's always one of the first ones to go off the table. We've proven.
You know what you should do with the Blantons is you should put the letter on top of the box of what letter it is, so that way people don't have to open every single box.
The boxes are actually gone. It's just bottles. People always grab the boxes first. But at the last release that we did, we made everyone who bought a bottle of Taylor admit that it lost to Wild Turkey 101 in our blind tasting. Because we've proven that there's 4 or 5 bottles for less than half the price sitting on the shelf right now that have beaten Taylor in a blind tasting. So go grab yourself some Old Granddad, some Wild Turkey 101, Evan Williams Bottled and Bond, JTS Brown Bottled and Bond. Those are all just as good, if not better, than Taylor Small Batch.
Just remember this conversation for our next episode of everything you just said right there. That's going to play into my favor on our next episode when we go through some hot takes.
I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm gonna start sipping some bourbon right now.
Just throwing that one out there. How many? Just so I know where I'm at. How many
We've
cigar
got 4
blends are
cigar
left?
blends left.
Ooh, so only 2 have gone.
Mm.
Feeling strong
Yeah,
on that.
Dan's
How much
looking good.
special reserve?
Those only one has been taken. So.
Oh
Yeah.
shoot! I forget that you're in an area that has a lot of money.
Well,
that's why I didn't expect
but you
the
also
Willet
got
to last long.
You got to
with only
realize,
being
like,
3.
when we do these releases, we almost always have Weller, we almost always have Taylor, we almost always have Eagle Rare. Like, I'd be grabbing the
That's
stuff
true.
that isn't always part of these releases. The stuff like the cigar blend, the stuff like the Willet or the Larceny Barrel Proof, which, like, it's amazing to me that Larceny Barrel Proof, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, when we do have those, they're never the first 1 or 2 to go. It's always the Buffalo Trace stuff.
Right. Yeah, and it's cheaper than Blanton's, right?
1 bottle of Blanton's left. Oh, yeah. Blanton's is gone. Oh, nope.
Oh.
Guys are tricking me over
Oh,
here.
you made her change her mind. You made her change her. See, you have influence over this bet. Like, I don't like that.
I'm trying not to influence too much, but I had
because what happened right there is what happened was people were just about to grab some Eagle Rare, and Jake's like, no. I would really recommend, as he's looking right at somebody, I would recommend the stuff that's not always on these releases.
Someone
like the Magnus cigar
someone just
blend.
held up a bottle of Larceny and Eagle Rare and asked which one they should buy, and I suggested the Larceny. Because we always have Eagle Rare on the table. Larceny Barrel Proof.
That's true.
Larceny Barrel Proof just 3 releases a year, or 3 or 4 releases a year. You know, Eagle Rare is going to continue to get released. So,
Larceny. I've had some that the Barrel Proofs have had some that I haven't enjoyed as the most, but some of them have been phenomenal. My biggest frustration with Larceny Barrel Proof is about a year old, and I had a friend that was looking for a Barrel Proof one. He'd never bought one, and I know Sam had a bottle. So I went down to Sam's, got it, and then was going to give it to my buddy, obviously for cost of the bottle. And it was like one of the most, I didn't look into it at all. I just knew it was Larceny Barrel Proof, and it was like one of the most hyped up ones in forever. And we opened it and tried it, and I'm like, God damn it, why are you getting this one and not the other one I had? Son of a bitch. But, no.
Yeah, so I want to talk about the Willet a little bit.
Okay.
I've never had the purple top. I've had the rye. I'm a fan of the Willet rye. It's good. It does vary from bottle to bottle quite a bit in terms of how good
the flavor
is.
profile a little bit
and
too.
I've heard that,
like, I sometimes get like really minty ones, and just sometimes like not at all. But go ahead.
But I've heard that the purple tops are even more varied, and for $230 a bottle, it seems like it's not worth the risk of getting
I'll give you my story on the purple tops. Well, first off, this one is a little different because this is a 8-year weeded bourbon, and I believe it's the first weeded bourbon. I mean, I could be wrong because they do a lot of single barrels, but it's the first like general market weeded bourbon that they've released in a purple top, and it's like a black bottle. It's a really cool looking bottle, and it's a little different than like their traditional single barrel purple tops. But 3-4 years ago, when we first started receiving Willet purple tops, they were all between $50 and $70 suggested retail, and these were all barrel proof single barrels. Now the age was a little younger. It was between 4 and 6 years old for the different releases. Now the ones that we received this year are between 7 and 9 years old, and they're $300 retail. So somebody's really upset they missed out on Blanton's right now. Should I help her?
Tell her to take an eagle.
Offer the caribou.
Don't give her the caribou. But yeah,
I recommend you either grab the Larceny or the caribou, the Canadian Blantons. She really wanted Blanton's because it was her son's birthday or something, and that's what he really wants. But there's plenty of better options, people.
Don't settle for Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean is the Willet purple tap their
No.
distillate? Or is
Some
that
of them are,
sourced?
but most of them are not. I think
Okay.
I think
That's
this
what I
8-year
thought.
weeded might be their own, but I'm not 100% sure because they do get a lot of stuff from Heaven Hill.
Okay.
But I will say I thought the
okay.
quality on these older purple tops are not as good as the younger ones that they put out a couple years ago that were a sixth of the price. I actually thought the 4 to 6 year ones were a little bit better. So I don't know if it's different distillate or what the story is there, but yeah, those were the good old days back then, and that's when they sat on the shelf for a little bit too. They were out on the shelf for probably 2 weeks.
Interesting.
I gotta laugh a little bit right now because Jake, I don't know if you checked your phone, but we got a text message in our boys thread from one of our friends who just got a score on allocation day, and he's got a bottle of Blanton's in it, but he's also got a Woodford Masters collection. So
hey, you got the batch proof. Nice. That's a good pickup.
Yeah, that is good.
yeah, but
all right, so
yeah, so I don't know. That's made me laugh that he got some allocation today too.
Yeah. It's a hot day.
Yes.
Bottles.
All right, so we're getting down. We're getting down low. So all we have left is Magnus Cigar Blend, Buffalo Trace Handles, Caribou Crossing, and Weller Special Reserve. So I think I might win, but it's going to come down to if people want to spend a couple $100 on the Magnus or just grab a $30 bottle of Weller. Right.
Yeah. I should have picked the Buffalo Trace Handles. I feel like
I don't
those will
know.
go late.
We haven't
Dan's got
gotten
it
those
on
in a
the
while.
Magnus because
And I was thinking about it, but it was funny because just last weekend when I was at Sam's, a guy walked in and was asking for Buffalo Trace if he got any Buffalo Trace handles in. He didn't. He had a whole bunch of just 750s out. But as soon as I saw that, I'm like, well, some people were asking about them.
That just love Buffalo Trace. And I mean, there's a lot of those people. Like every time we get Buffalo Trace in, we fly through it, and we always do limit one because we get a lot of people online that buy. So we usually get 5 cases at a time, and it's gone within a day or two. And it is by far the number one most asked for bourbon, and people are like shocked when we say that we don't have it. And those are also the people.
Yeah, I mean,
I was just gonna say those are also the people that are very hard to recommend something else because they just think Buffalo Trace is God and there's nothing that's gonna come close to it.
Right.
So they're like, no, I'll just come back when you guys get Buffalo Trace back.
But like, I don't. If you want something that's 94 proof, like there's limitless options. Right. Yeah, even more. Like that's in my opinion even more flavorful than Buffalo Trace, and I mean it's not bad. I like Buffalo Trace for old fashions.
I think I like Buffalo Trace.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on it. Like it's a phenomenal bourbon for $30, but there's a lot of other stuff out there that's just as good that's on the shelf. Grab an Elijah Craig small batch. Grab Green River bourbon, which beat Buffalo Trace in our blind tasting. There's just endless options.
Right.
No, it's I was interested on the handles, but I also do love. I will give you guys some props here. I love how on your Instagram post that you always X stuff out as it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing, sitting here keeping that updated. Yeah,
nice.
Dan likes to sit at home and watch things go.
Dan just keeps refreshing the Gold Eagle socials every time we do a release. Pause the TV. I'm just going to refresh my Instagram.
Yeah. This is how I knew that the Willet would be one of the first things gone, unlike someone here. Weller would have been my second pick.
Yeah,
but,
it used to always be the first one gone, but I think Taylor has taken over that.
Which is hilarious to me. Weller's
just the name.
So mediocre.
It's just the name.
In like every aspect. Yeah.
And it's
name and price, I think.
And it's the people that aren't really into bourbon.
Yeah,
They're just they say they like bourbon, but they haven't tried a bunch, because if they had, then they wouldn't be grabbing that bottle. They're they dip their toes in. They found out about Buffalo Trace, and they just anything from Buffalo Trace is almighty.
And it got hyped up, but I'm seeing so much more Special Reserve everywhere anymore. So I think people are getting.
It's only a matter of time before you can come in anytime and get it. I mean, we're probably
yeah. It seems like that's within a year or two.
I would say a little more than a year or two, only because it is usually aged about 5 years. And I mean, Buffalo Trace has ramped up a lot, but you gotta think, as soon as they do catch up and have a lot of it, people are still going to go crazy and buy it up wherever it goes. And by the time it hits everywhere in the country and keeps getting replenished to the point where people realize, I don't need to keep stocking my closet with Weller Reserve because it's at every liquor store. Until that happens, it's still going to fly off the shelves no matter where it is.
Here's the thing. Here's the question I have. I don't think we've talked about this at all when we've talked about Weller. When it is constantly on the shelf and available, do you think that will affect some of the newer brands that are coming up, because people are still going to be gung-ho for the Weller, and now they can grab a Weller instead of, I'm just throwing it out there because it's weeded, Green River for the same price? Like, do you think that'll have an effect on companies like Green River? They're selling a $35 weeded bourbon when you can walk in and grab one or the other, and you already have your mindset.
Yeah, I think that's when we're going to see a lot of the smaller, craftier distilleries really struggle. Because my theory is Buffalo Trace would raise their prices right now if they knew that, if they would raise their prices right now if they thought that they weren't going to be able to catch up someday to get their stuff on the shelf. They know that they have so much bourbon being made that in 5 to 10 years, it's going to be everywhere. And if they raise their prices now, people are going to stop buying as soon as they have a ton of bourbon. People will still pay double, triple suggested retail for any of their bourbons right now. But as soon as they catch up and they have a lot, they can't go backwards and reduce their price back in half, because then people are going to, know that they're just gouging for supply and demand reasons. So I know that they know that they're going to catch up. They're going to be there. They're going to have plenty of bourbon available. That's why they're not raising their prices now. And it's going to take some time to hit this, spread it out throughout the country and get it to a point where it's actually sitting on the shelves. But yes, we're going to see. I mean, how much Weller can you buy? If it's always on the shelf, how much are you going to buy? You might always have a bottle on your bar, to keep in rotation, daily drinker, cocktail mixer, whatever. But you're not just going to keep hoarding it if it's everywhere. I think you're less likely to take a chance on a craft distillery when you have all these really great bourbons on the shelf at a cheaper price. So the smaller guys are going to really struggle. But I think, you can't just drink Weller 100% of the time. You're still going to want to try other things and explore other routes. But you might be a lot more hesitant to pay for an $80, 4-year new bourbon from a new distillery.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like it could go the other way, though, that if it's always there, you might not go for that bottle. So I know, like, there's some stuff that I think a lot of people would be surprised that I haven't ever tried, just because it's always there and I know at some point I can just grab it. Most recent one was just like Granddad Bonded. Like, I'd never tried it before, and because it's just always there, so like I don't feel the need to go and buy a bottle, because I know that, like, I could be like on my deathbed at 100 and I'm sure they'll still have Granddad Bonded for like $10 on the shelf.
So we've got some updating to do here.
And we've got anything else going?
There is 2 bottles of Buffalo Trace 1.75, and there's 2 bottles of Magnus Cigar Blend.
Coming down to the wire.
Weller's gone?
Yeah, the last bottle just went. I mean, I'll turn the laptop for our 10 video viewers. I don't know. Do we even have 10 video viewers? But
sometimes.
We got 17 on the last one.
I'll stop hating on us then.
Usually one of them is me when I link it to the website because you have to start the video to get the copy. But
I want to clarify something though. The bet isn't what lasts the longest; it's what goes last. So Dan can still lose. And I
still beat all of you, but I can still lose the bet.
Right.
And it's no surprise. Like, we all know that I'm the smartest one and have the most refined palate and give the best advice. So, like, I feel like it's not a shock. I'm feeling very confident considering Buffalo Trace had gone much, and now that it's dwindling down, it's going quicker, and it's caught up to the cigar blend. And cigar blends,
yeah, I mean, I think
this
is just going to come down to the next 4 people that walk in. Do they want to spend $200 today, or do they want to spend $60? I'm not going to say anything. You can't sway anyone on this purchase anyway. It's Buffalo Trace Handle or Magnus Cigar Blend. They're completely different. And
what if someone comes in and asks what they should get? What are you going to say?
I won't say.
Yeah, all right.
Jake also isn't going to try and upsell somebody on a $250 box.
I'm watching.
It's going to sell either way, so it doesn't matter.
There's a $60 box.
It's going to sell either way.
That's true.
So we got one cigar blend.
The real winner is Gold Eagle and Jake.
No, the real winner is everyone who came in and grabbed a bottle. Congratulations, and
the real winner is the people that have Instagram.
Support.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's awesome to see that much go quick. It's just so funny how much hype and how quickly things go, where the post is about 30 minutes old and you've gone through what?
Yeah, I should have taken a count, but
40,
I think there was probably
bottles.
60 bottles on the table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
30 minutes there swooped up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And hopefully people check out what's on the shelf and whatnot too, because I say this all the time, but there's better things sitting on the shelf right now. I can go pick out 10 bottles that I'd rather have than any of the bottles that were on this table over here. So,
yeah.
Have you ever thought about putting these bottles out on the shelf and not telling anybody?
We do. So that's another, sometimes we'll just put 2 cases of Taylor on the shelf and put a little sign that says limit 1. The only reason why I don't like doing that is because usually the first or second person that comes in and sees that takes a picture, sends it to all their buddies, and then all their friends rush in, and then those bottles are gone quick. And you can tell when that happens because they usually stand around and wait, and then they have 3 or 4 friends come in and buy it. So that's the only reason why I don't like doing that. But we do that time to time.
Yeah.
And what's also kind of fun is sometimes I'll put Wild Turkey 101 on the table. And people will grab that before some of the other bottles. Well, the people, because a lot of people, we get a lot of parents that are like, oh, my son just texted me to come in here and grab something, and they have no idea what they're grabbing. They're just because it's limited or hard to find, they're just going to grab a bottle. And I don't feel bad doing that because I truly believe that you're getting a better bottle than probably half the things on those tables when you're grabbing a Wild Turkey 101. So.
Anything else move recently, or are we just kind of people? Are you to the point where people walk by the table and don't grab anything now? Yeah, we've had a few people walk by and then walk away.
So there's one Magnus cigar blend, 2 Buffalo Trace handles.
Oh no!
Oh, come on!
Oh no! Come on!
I want to see Dan go down.
At the end of the day, I still beat both of you. I might not win, but I'm
still
the winner.
You gotta be right.
All right, so what are we drinking today? Dan's got some horse bourbon
some
over
horse
there.
Shit.
Yeah, I got a bottle with a horse on it. I thought for fun it'd have a little Blanton's on Tater release day.
Nice. I don't think we really need to talk about it beyond that, right?
No.
So
if you really want, hey, you know what? Let's talk about it this way. If you really want this bottle, follow Gold Eagle on Instagram.
Yeah.
And pay attention to it. And then when they have a post on a Saturday, you can go in and get some. Look at
Thank
I'm
you.
doing your
Thank
plug
you.
for you, Jake. Look how
nice job.
So we have a winner.
Oh no, that's not
Magnus
good. That
just
means
left.
Magnus just left.
We've got 2 bottles of Buffalo Trace 1.75, and that's it. So
I like how Jake R is looking for some validation considering he was the first thing to go. He had like a 1 in 8 chance of winning, and he was the first loser. Like,
I was originally going to pick the Buffalo Trace, and I decided to gamble a little bit. So I should have listened to my instincts.
So word is don't gamble.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
What do we think about the overall order? Like Blanton's Taylor going first. Then it looks like the Willet went right after that, or right about that same time, and then Larceny, and then McKenna 10, Weller being last.
Not incredibly surprising. I'm surprised the McKenna didn't go earlier, but
I've seen so much of
And
that
it's-
lately, though, that
It's
I'm not
also
too
gone
shocked
up a
on that.
lot
Yeah,
in price
it's showing
too.
up more.
It was a year
Yeah.
or two ago was
Yeah.
$40, and now it's up to 70, which
Yeah,
I
it
guess
was-
is still
yeah.
a decent price
Yeah.
for a 10-year bourbon. But a lot of people know that they used to pay $40 for that bottle and could walk in and grab it anytime. They used to collect
Yep.
dust before Fred Minnick started talking it up.
yeah, that bastard.
Yeah, I don't know. I always find it funny that the Taylor is always like, I don't know. I hate Taylor so much because of it. Why is the Taylor always the first to go? I mean, it gets me going. It grinds my gears. We've had it lose so many times in blind tastings, and people still grab it over anything else on the table. I just don't get it. It's that damn tube.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
We need
it's
more
a tube.
bourbons to come out in tubes.
You should take
Well, that's-
the bottles
that's all-
out of the
that's all
tube
you're saying.
and
Well,
just
yeah, we
put
need
the
more
bottles
American
out next
whiskeys
time.
to come in tubes. I guarantee, actually, this would be a good test. I guarantee you, if the next release we put the Taylors on there without the tubes, we would get people asking for the tubes. They would be like, "Where's the box? Where's the tube?" And I guarantee you, there'd probably be one or
Probably.
two people that don't buy it just because it didn't come with the tube.
Yeah.
And the funny thing with the tube is we've shown some of the stuff I've done. I like to reuse bottles and containers and things for other purposes. And it's really hard to figure out what to do with a cardboard tube. So I think the only thing that I've done that works was I took one of the Taylor tubes, cut the top off of it, sprayed the inside with Flex Seal, and then put a little riser in the bottom, and I use that for my spatulas and things.
Oh, it's
in my
actually
kitchen.
not
That's
a
the only thing I've ever been able so
Terrible
far.
idea.
It wasn't a bad idea. No, but it's the only thing I could think of, and I don't know what else
Yeah.
I'd do with another tube. Like it took me a long time to get to that point.
You just throw it away. Like it's
I-
cardboard.
It's cardboard.
Yeah, I saved
it's not
like
worth
my.
anything, but
I used to save the tubes, and then I was like, "What am I doing?" And I just threw them away. Not to Taylor because I don't buy
Yeah.
that.
unless you had if you had one of the really like an amaranth
Yeah.
tube or something like that, you'd probably save that as a hey, I had this one because some of the harder ones to find. But yeah, like the small batch, the single barrel, the barrel proof, the rise. There's so many of them out. Not so many, but there's a decent amount of them out there. But yeah, but are you guys drinking anything? Or are you just since it's early in the morning, you're not a champion?
I just finished
like
up some
me?
black coffee, and now I have 3 pours of whiskey in front of me, and I'm gonna start sipping, and and we're gonna record another episode, so I didn't want to get too far ahead of myself, but I've got the 3 bottles that we put on the bar today. I've got Magnus Cigar Blend, I've got Baker's 13 Year, and I've got Magnus Murray Hill. I have not
you tried the
I've just
Baker's yet?
nosed. Yeah. Mhm.
All right. Excited
Yeah,
to hear
luckily
about that one. That's
I
probably pretty
forgot
good.
what order these are, but they're very easy to tell what's what just by nosing them. So
Yeah.
no, I'm gonna dive into the Bakers probably after the Magnus Murray Hill, but I'll talk about it more on the next episode.
Jake,
Yeah,
you drinking anything this morning?
Yeah, I'm drinking the Pikesville straight rye from Heaven Hill, 110 proof. It's pretty good. I enjoy it. Heaven Hill's probably my favorite distillery, so as usual, they're putting out the good stuff.
So yeah, I don't know if you've noticed, but over the past 2 years, Pikesville's been almost impossible to find.
Yeah.
Interesting reason. It's because of the shape of the bottle, the glass. They couldn't get the glass. And it was
okay.
Pikesville was bought by Heaven Hill. The brand was bought, I think, like 10, maybe 15 years ago. And I learned this when I was at the distillery a couple months ago. The one thing that the previous owner of Pikesville said to them was, "Don't change the bottle shape. That is like our precious baby, our design." So they stayed true to that, and they said when they couldn't get the glass for it, they just didn't bottle any. And I was there 2-3 months ago, and they said that they are finally back to normal with the glass, but it's just going to take some time to replenish all the stores in the country. So
Yeah.
it should be back around again. It wasn't like a shortage of whiskey; it was just a glass issue.
Yeah, and it's good. I don't know. I can't remember what the price is, but it's pretty reasonable. It was under $50, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, good 6-year minimum. Yeah, 6-year minimum rye. So yeah, good stuff.
Sweet. All right. Well, the whiskey's basically gone at Gold Eagle. That was a fun little 40 minutes of seeing 60 bottles walk out the door quickly.
Yep, and
fun
seeing
to
Dan
do.
lose.
It's always nice seeing Dan lose. And yeah, hopefully those who missed and who came in a little late, or even those who grabbed a bottle, checked out the shelves as well. Because honestly, there's lots of good stuff out there right now. Plenty of things I'd rather be buying and drinking than what was on this table. So I know I'm a little biased, but
both you guys need to tell me you're a Bears fan without telling me you're a Bears fan. Like, you know you can't win, so your only glory is other people not winning the final thing. Like, that's the only spot. Like, tell me you're a Bears fan without telling me you're a Bears fan.
Tell me you're a
more
Packers
perfect
fan
way.
without
That's
telling me
just
you're a
what it
Packers
is.
fan. Just making fun of Bears fans. We're not even talking about football.
Yeah.
Hey, I make fun of myself. The last like 5 years, I've predicted ourselves to basically, like, except for last year I didn't, but the previous 4 years, I'm like, I think we're going to get to the NFC Championship and lose. Like, I'm used to losing big games.
Yeah, I'd rather
Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm used to
rather
losing
get
at the
knocked out
last
early,
minute.
get
Like,
a good,
that's my Packer fan.
so I don't get my hopes up.
You don't even get knocked out
yeah, miss the
early.
playoffs.
You got to
I'd
make
rather
it
miss,
something
get
to
a
be
better
able to be
draft
knocked
pick,
out
and not have any hopes.
Yeah. Yeah, because your
and
draft
don't
picks
waste
have
a bunch
gone
of
so
Sundays.
well.
Just wait. You want to make a bet right now? Who has a better record this season?
I'll bet
All
you
right,
a bottle.
No,
let's
he does
Let's
not.
bet a bottle.
A bottle from your personal collection. Full
Okay.
bottle from your personal collection.
Value?
Over
Okay.
over $50.
Done.
Just keep in mind that Dan does not have quite the collection
I
that
mean,
you
my
do.
collection. You guys have seen my collection.
Doesn't matter.
My collection is the store.
Yeah, I'll get a barrel pick from the store that
you'll
no
get
one
a
bought.
good barrel pick.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, on that note, that was fun.
Yeah.
We have another episode to record, and there's no more bottles on the table
No.
for Jake to watch leave.
But
so.
we got people at the bar.
Plugs.
Yeah.
They do got people at the bar. You want to
Sure,
plug the
we
bar
got,
there, Jake?
Obviously, I'm recording from the bar. If you haven't been to Gold Eagle or you haven't been in the back corner, we have a little bar back here, and probably about 200 open bottles of whiskey. So come on by, take a sip. I guarantee you the prices are probably cheaper than any other bar that you've been to in the area. And it's a great way to just explore and try different things before you buy. But yeah, goldeaglewine.com. Follow us on Instagram at Gold Eagle Wine. Follow us on Facebook at Gold Eagle Spirits. Make sure you keep up to date with all releases like this and everything good that's going on with Gold Eagle.
Jake, where can people listen to us or watch us?
They can watch us on YouTube and Spotify, or listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast platform. You can find us on Instagram at Bourbon Matters.
Nice.
Also,
all right, guys. Nope, sorry.
I gotta plug my other show. Me and my buddy started a podcast about movies called Movie Matters. And this season we're talking about 80s movies, so go check that out. Search for Movie Matters on Instagram and all the same places where you listen to podcasts and watch.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, this is fun. I'll see you here shortly for another episode.
Cheers, guys.
All right,
See
cheers.
ya. Cheers.